Hi everyone, welcome back to River and Rune. Thank you guys for joining me back on the channel. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel so that you can find out whenever new videos come out, whenever I post them. And so today's reading is going to be really fun because this is the Beltane reading. I wanted to do something a little bit different today, but we'll get into that in just a second. First, what is Beltane? Ooh, my flames. Fire, 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 fire. It's a fire festival. And it's also one of the traditional Celtic celebrations throughout the Celtic calendar. Beltane is associated with love, with sex, with fertility, with abundance. People know it around the world as May Day. And oftentimes it was used as a welcoming in of the new summer months, of the energy of abundance, of life, the longer days, all this beautiful energy that we have available to us when the summer comes around. So Beltane is very much a beautiful, beautiful day of fire, of abundance, of joy, of dancing. One of the traditional celebration techniques would be to create this huge bonfire and dance around it in the middle of the night, usually naked, which was fun. And so this is why I brought some candles for this little ritual, and why I wanted to do something a little bit different, because it's opening up. Beltane opens up the summer. It's the Celtic time of opening up this longer days, these joyous celebrations, all these beautiful times. So this time around, I wanted to do a group reading. So group 1, group 2, group 3. So group 1 is the rose quartz, group 2 is the fluorite, and group 3 is the carnelian. So take your time, feel which one resonates to you so that you can pick whichever group calls out to you. And this is essentially going to be a general reading for the month of May and for the coming summer months, so going towards August, and just reading the energies that are going to be available to you during this Beltane time, during this festival of fire, during this time of abundance and wealth and prosperity and happiness. And I know a lot of us are still under quarantine, are still going through a lot in terms of what's going on with the world, so of course my heart goes out to all of you. And I think this would be a nice little look ahead into the months that are coming and see what's in store for us. So let's see what summer has for us, okay? So we'll start with group 1 in just a second. Hi everyone. Okay, so welcome group 1, rose quartz. So I know a lot of us, those of you who are drawn to the rose quartz, to give you an idea of what the crystal represents, rose quartz is a stone of self-love. It's a stone that is oftentimes used to connect to our heart space so that we can turn inward, look within, find the vibration of love and divine energy within ourselves, so that we can then send it out into the universe around us. A lot of people oftentimes think that rose quartz is a relationship stone, but more often than not, it's a relationship stone with yourself, so that as you grow in self-love, you'll be able to welcome a partnership, or if that's something that you desire, into your life. So let's see what the runes have to say for you guys for the coming month of May and the summer months heading up into August. Let's move the table a little bit forward so it doesn't fall on me. Okay. Ooh. All right. So, as you guys know, for those of you who are new to the channel and those of you who are recurring members, we start in the center. It's like a drop that falls in the middle, ripples out into space-time. So, present, going further out into time. So, starting now with the month of May, going into this week, into this first week of May and into the rest of the summer months. So first off in May, we have these two that fell together. We have Othala in reverse, and we have Ewas upright. Now, these two together are really interesting because for those of you who are watching, for those of you in group 1, I feel like there's a lot of energy here that's suggesting that perhaps there was a loss of something that you held dear. So perhaps there was a loss of, just to give you an idea, Othala in reverse oftentimes represents, when it's upright, represents home, represents your connection to family, friends, your spiritual inheritance. When it's in Merkstaff position like this, it oftentimes represents the loss of something. It can also represent provincialism, this kind of like short-sightedness. You're only looking at the things around you. But in this case, in conjunction with Ewas, what I'm feeling is that there was a lot that was going on in your past. Or perhaps you've been thinking about your past a lot. Perhaps going through old photos, old memories, looking through old Facebook pages, things like that, finding old songs that you used to really like. And this almost like loss of the past and reminiscing on the past and reminiscing on all the things that you've had to leave behind, maybe friendships or relationships or things like that, has really brought you to understand how far you've come. Because Eowas is a symbol of strength. It's the yew tree. And the yew tree is oftentimes found in cemeteries and has a long tradition, especially in Celtic mythology and Celtic folklore, as connected to eternal life, connected to the cycles and seasons of life and death. And so it oftentimes represents strength, strength of character, strength of will. It oftentimes represents a trustworthy person. So I feel like this first week of May, going into the rest of May, there's this really powerful energy of reviewing your past, reviewing the things that you've gone through and finding how much strength that you've actually had, that you've brought into your life without even realizing it. And I think that's a really beautiful message because it's suggesting, to really focus on that. It also is suggesting here, as it's edging out further into, I would say, going into the end of May, into the beginning of June, right? We have these 3 stones hanging around. So we have Ansus in Merkstaff position. Ansus in upright usually represents the message, hearing a message, intuitive potential, understanding the message of the gods, or really it's listening to one's inner voice. When it's reversed, it oftentimes represents cunning, lying. It represents not necessarily being true to oneself, wearing masks in a way. And that's a good way to think about it. So I feel like for those of you in group 1, especially with this little theme here that's going on, with the reverse, with the Merkstaff of Othala and the Merkstaff of Ansus, it's also suggesting that for some of you in this group, because again, this is a general reading, and only take what resonates. For some of you in this group, it's suggesting that there's a part of you, like you've been holding on, you've been so strong for so long, and yet that strength has also kept you from really pursuing what your intuition has been telling you, which maybe is to be a little reckless, to try something new, to let go of certain responsibilities that you thought you needed to carry but you don't need to carry anymore. Something like this, right? The combination of that loss and yet provincialism, that kind of myopic holding in on one particular element of life, and then the Ansus Merkstaff also suggesting that there's something being left behind or something not being heard, right? That theme that's coming up here is then cushioned by these other stones that I find very interesting. You have Ewas, which is beautiful, power of transition, transformation. So I see this as May starts to come to a close and you're doing all this reviewing of your past and looking at yourself and letting go and doing all this beautiful inner work. as June rolls around, there is a powerful sense of transformation and transition. Perhaps some of you are called to travel or called to change things around in your exterior life, whatever that may be. But usually Ehwaz represents harmonious partnerships, connection to others, transition, and change. Then on the farther edges of the rune table, you have Wunyo, which is connected to joy, connection to oneself, to one's higher self. And then you have Manas in Merkstaff. Now Manas upright oftentimes represents connection to the self, the higher self, similar to Wunyo, but in a different way. This is more about cunning, intellect. This is more about your ability to process things around you. When it's in Merkstaff, it oftentimes represents not being in touch with the self. And in conjunction with Wunyo, I find this to be a very interesting reading, because it seems to me that this Beltane energy, this fire energy that's opening May for you this month, and then the energy that you can then carry into the summer months, is really suggesting we know your strength, but you don't need to hold on to these things anymore. It's time to open your perspective, to sit in your power, to sit in the throne of your heart, so that you can listen to your intuition, which then brings this powerful sense of transformation, which then can bring you more joy and more connection to yourself. But yet where things are at the moment, right, with you having like these three in Merkstad and these three in upright position, it feels to me that there's a choice here that's being made about whether or not you're going to listen to your inner intuitive principle and connect to the joy and inner strength that you have to create the transition that you're looking for. A lot about self-love. So I hope that reading resonates with you. If it doesn't, please feel easy, do your thing, find one that does. You are welcome to try another one of the groups. And of course, if you like the video, please like and subscribe so you can find out whenever I send out new videos. And please may this Beltane month bring you many blessings, many joyous blessings for the coming summer months as well. Again, as your reading has suggested, please listen to your intuition, connect to yourself, take the time to review all the things that you've gone through and find that inner strength that you have so that you can step forward into your new life, which is really fun. I see a lot of good things for you guys. I see the 10 of Cups and a lot of good things. So see you guys next time on River and Rune. Like and subscribe, do the whole bell notification fun stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye everyone. Thank you guys for joining me, group 2. It's gonna be fun. So you guys picked the fluorite. So what is fluorite? Fluorite is a beautiful crystal that's often used in the New Age and also shamanic traditions, and across the world, as a stone that clears psychic energy. It's a very protective stone. It's great for creative people who work with writing or who work with art or anything like that, or even students who are studying academics, whatever it may be. Fluorite is a very beautiful stone, especially green fluorite, which connects to the heart chakra. So this energy is really about connecting to nature, connecting to yourself. It's about clearing the psychic fog, clearing any of the lingering doubts or what have you that swirls around the mind, and helps bring a clear breeze to open up your heart, to open up your soul, to open up your mind. It's a beautiful stone. So for those of you who picked group 2, let's see what this Beltane month has in store for you, and also see perhaps the energies that you can bring forward into the rest of the summer. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Yes. So for those of you in group 2, it seems to me that there may have been, in the relatively recent past, some energy of anxiety, perhaps an energy of feeling a little down, especially with all the things that are going on in the world around us at this time. It makes a lot of sense. So please be gentle with yourselves. I also see, the first thing that I saw as I was tossing the stones, I had a little vision, and I saw this beautiful golden poppy. And this golden poppy was in a field, beautiful, beautiful field, rolling hills and such. And it reminded me of the super blooms that often happen in California, or that can happen in California. And the poppy is really beautiful and very symbolic, and oftentimes was used in ancient Greek literature to reference youthfulness, and how the poppy, when it's full of seeds and when it's full of its bursting youth, is prepared to release everything into the wind, to go wild, to express itself. But oftentimes in the Greek traditions, the poppy would be cut. And it would represent, sadly, a warrior, a young warrior usually, that had died before his or her time. So, that being said, connecting this to this reading, there's a lot of energy of potential growth, a lot of energy of potential blossoming. So this month is really about settling in and taking the time to heal, taking your time to clear the psychic chatter, to clear all of these doubts and these, to clear the things that have been weighing heavily on your heart. Because in the center of the reading, as you guys know, for those of you, and for those of you who don't, who are new to the channel, in the center of the rune table, that is the present moment. It's like a drop. Time is like a drop of water that falls into the ocean, and it ripples across the still waters. And that present moment ripples across time and goes further out into the future. So in the center, it's very blank. There's not much going on in the center, and we have a lot of stones that fell without showing their symbols. They fell face first, which oftentimes to me represents, it can connect to a different shape, so perhaps the shape may be useful in the reading, but in this particular reading, especially in the context of those of you who picked group 2 with the fluorite crystal, this energy feels like a lot of potential. There's a lot of things that you may have been sitting on, a lot of ideas that you may have been drawn to, things that you've been wanting to do, but because, of course, global circumstances and social circumstances has been a little bit difficult, and perhaps there's been underlying fears that have already been present. Because we have later on in the reading, later on in time, we have Lagus in reverse, Lagus in Werkstaff. And that stone is that rune is very powerful, because Merkstav Lagus represents the waters of the sacral chakra, the waters of our creativity, our sexuality, having run stagnant. They stop moving. And when they stop moving, oftentimes it can lead to anxiety, it can lead to depression, it can lead to those very heavy feelings that sometimes we feel. Forgive the motorcycles. And so when it comes to Lagus in Merkstav, what's really being said here is that you have so much to offer this world, so much to offer yourself, so much to give, so much to share, so much to love. I feel this deep energy of, you have like such a large heart, all of you in group 2. Like, you guys, like, there's such a beautiful energy here, and yet maybe you might be afraid to share it. Maybe you might be afraid to open up. For various reasons. There's a lot of reasons why we choose to do that, or why we feel afraid to do that. So when it comes to this Lagus, I feel that Beltane, this energy, this May month, this beautiful May month. Beltane is also known as May Day. So, and as you know, if a plane is going down, they'll often say Mayday. Mayday, we're going down. This to me feels like a very necessary cathartic crash, so to speak. A kind of letting go, letting loose, letting free. It's time to, as things open up again, as things start to blossom, as the world starts to reopen things, as the summer brings that joy and that heat and that love. It may be difficult, but don't be afraid to go out there. Don't be afraid to share that energy. Don't be afraid to partake, because you have Kenas that fell kind of on its side. It fell facing up, right? This is upright and this would be reversed. So it's very interesting. I don't know if that seems the right way for you guys, because I know the mirror, the camera mirrors things. So in any case, it felt upright, so it's not quite, it fell on its side, so not quite upright, not quite reversed. But Kenas oftentimes represents the torch, the fire of life, this energy that we have to bring. This energy, this beautiful fire. This torch represents our passions, the things that we want to share. And if that torch is dim, if the passion that we have in our life is a little dim, then we won't really see far ahead of us on the path. We might stumble every so often because the light isn't that bright and we can't see the stones ahead of us. So this is really suggesting to take this month to reconnect with yourself, to find that joy. I feel a lot, again, as I said in the earlier in the reading, I feel that super bloom. Like you're just about to burst. You're just about to like share everything and have fun. But there's just this small lingering, you know, this, let me not yet. Don't take the step, wait, ooh, but. And what this is really saying is you are safe to do that. It's okay to want the things that you want. Even though sometimes that may be hard to really settle into, to really feel. So that's all that I have for you guys in group 2. Thank you for joining me on River and Rune. I appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe button if you like this video. And of course, this is a general reading, so take what resonates. And if it doesn't resonate, just allow it to go into the wind from whence it has come. And find something that does. Perhaps you could try a different group if you'd like. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys soon back here on River and Rune. Alright everyone, bye group 2, see you later. Hi everyone, welcome to those of you who picked group number 3. So, carnelian. Carnelian is a beautiful stone. It actually falls under the agate family. And agates generally tend to work with the emotional life. Now, carnelian specifically is very much geared towards the sacral chakra. So it's about allowing emotional energy that is present within our sexual, desirous, and creative center to be soothed, to be eased, to have all of that energy become useful to us in ways that create that feeling of happiness and joy. So carnelian is also a very protective stone, actually. So you can use it to protect your space, protect yourself, because it's through the flow of creativity, through the flow of life force energy, that things are cleansed, things are protected. So it's a very powerful stone. So let's see what this Beltane month has in store for you and the energies that you can take forward into the summer months ahead. was pretty interesting. Ooh, how pretty. I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, so for those of you who are new to the channel, how I read the runes, especially when they're cast on my rune table, I start in the center and whirl around, going outward as time progresses. So it's like a drop that falls into the pond of time and it ripples. And so that initial drop is the present moment where we are right now, and then going further out into the future. So right now, as we start this month, we have Manas for you guys in group 3. So Manas is really beautiful, especially in this position, because it's suggesting that right now you're feeling really good. You're in this space of like, okay, things may be a little difficult. We may be working through a lot of things, especially on a global scale. But right now I feel connected to myself, and I want to continue to pursue that connection to my higher self, right? So it's a nice energy to start out with, and especially because Beltane is the fire festival and it is connected to this energy of growth, transformation, fertility, of abundance. This Manas is really suggesting like, yeah, you've put in the work, and also to expect help. So reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, reach out to your partner, perhaps people who you're really connected with, and notice how those connections can be very enlivening to you and fruitful. So it's very much a time of, I keep hearing, a time of celebration. And then going further out, you have Yera, which is a beautiful stone to get, because Yera represents the harvest. So a lot of hard won work, like things that you have done that is hard won. So for those of you who are reading this as kind of, or watching this particular group, it feels very, as you have connected to yourself with Manas, you have begun to reap what you have sown. And this process of harvesting your connections, harvesting your creativity, harvesting all of the different elements of your emotional life, and really bringing them into balance and saying, hey, like, yeah, like, you know, I messed up here, but I own up to it. And that's okay. So let me reach out and say I'm sorry and put that to rest. Or, you know, this energy of I'm feeling really good today. I wonder why that is. It's because I put myself first. You see, like things like that, like you start to harvest all of the elements that you will need to bring forward as you go further along into the month, because later on into the month and into the energy that you can carry into the summer months, so June, July, August energy, we have these two. I'll show you as they fell. So we have one Perthro here on top and Tirwasi here on the bottom, but they both fell on their side. So this is really interesting because Yera is acting as the gateway, right? Whatever it is that you're harvesting or whatever it is that you're bringing into your life is going to act as the gateway, and your perspective on that harvesting is going to influence how these turn out, if they turn out upright or if they turn out reversed, Merkstaff. Because essentially when they fall on their side, they are potential energies that are in the works and they're waiting for you, but they require your general action. So we'll start with Perthro first. So Perthro is a beautiful stone. When it's upright, when it's upright, it oftentimes suggests knowledge of one's destiny, connection to the feminine principle, finding our intuition. So for those of you who do the tarot and who understand the archetypes therein, this is very much the stone of the high priestess. So intuition, understanding, connection to your spiritual side, your spiritual self, knowledge of your destiny. So it's really a powerful stone and of course it's written on the tiger's eye, right? Because it takes courage. It takes courage and strength to connect to that feminine principle. And then all the way here on the bottom we have Tirwas. Now Tirwas, upright, oftentimes represents justice, victory, triumph over judicial matters or whatever it may be. So these energies are really waiting for you as the end of May rolls around, going into the summer months. this energy of victory, of really, I see some of you in this group, this is a specific message. I see some of you like getting good news regarding court decisions, or getting good news regarding any kind of general proceedings. So maybe if you started a name change process or something like that, and you know they're supposed to get back to you by the end of the month, something like this, like something to do with interpersonal connections. But that was a very specific message for some of you who are watching this group. But yes, so victory and this energy of connecting to the divine feminine, the feminine principle, connecting to this knowledge of yourself, knowledge of your desires, of your wants, of where you're headed, right? And all of this, like those beautiful energies, are dependent upon how you perceive the harvest. So for example, if you go into the self, because this also feels like, for those of you in group 3, this also feels like, because Manas is a stone of the self, this also can mean it may be a very introspective month for a lot of you. And as you go within and look deeper inside of your hearts and connect to your higher self more thoroughly, and connect to to reestablish your connections with others, or to cut away things that you no longer need, as you're harvesting, as you're doing this process of pruning, of planting, of reviewing. This is a theme that has come up in the other groups too. There's a lot of reviewing that has to happen in this month. Beltane, this energy of fire and life and joy, but really coming down to the reviewing of the self, reviewing of our pasts, reviewing of of trying to remember who we are, so that we can walk forward into a new life. Because as things start to open up again, and as the global pandemic starts to ease away, source willing, that energy of opening up is going to be really powerful for a lot of us. And we have to know where we're walking to, right? We have to connect to those deeper desires. So as you do that, this yera is really important. The harvest, as you're looking at all the parts of yourself. How are you going to see yourself? Are you going to look at it and say, well, you know, I'm not going to listen to my intuition, I'm not going to do this because I'm feeling all kinds of doubt and insecurities and stuff, which is hard, of course. But that energy, as you go into more heavier doubts and such, can bring this, you know, a lack of that vitality, and then slowly no longer trusting your intuition, right? That is not what I'm suggesting that is going to happen, because the stones here do feel very positive, and it does feel like a very beautiful time, but it does also feel like a very introspective time. So this energy is really about the courage and the peace necessary to review, to connect to your higher self, to connect to that manas, to the self, right? And as you do that, with that courage and that peacefulness in your heart, that gentleness, reviewing, harvesting, finding what works and what doesn't, what makes you happy and what didn't make you happy, and saying no to the things that you don't want and saying yes to the things that you do. Connecting, then leading you to connect more fully to the knowledge of your destiny, to the knowledge of your own self, and that will bring you to a deeper sense of victory, a deeper sense of that, like, I did it, you know? So it's a really powerful, positive reading. But that's all I have for you guys in group 3. So I hope that this Beltane reading has resonated with you. And of course, this energy is for the month of May, for the Beltane month, and also as this energy that you can then carry on into the summer months as well. So I hope that that resonated with you, and if it didn't, don't worry about it. Let it fall into the wind, as all things do. And yeah, like, subscribe, check out the channel, check out some other videos here and there, and connect to that carnelian energy, that sacral energy. And thank you guys for joining me here on the channel on River and Rune. I hope that this was a fun reading for you guys. It was for me, that's for sure. And I'll see you guys next time on River and Rune, okay? Bye everyone!